What up, y'all? So I'm gonna bro split. I've never done a bro split before, and I'm actually pretty excited to do it. When I was introduced to training, it was in prison, and so not only were we not doing bro splits, we were working like three times a day. We would exercise. So very, very, very dumb, but also your capacity, you learn how to increase your capacity for lifting because it's like we weren't in there half-ass lifting. It's so much testosterone flowing around, so much competition that even if it's your third workout of the day, you're trying to beat the next dude still. And so I learned a lot about that, but I never learned what a bro split was. And I was locked up in 2010. I didn't learn about what a bro split was until the end of last year. That was the first time I actually heard of it. And I was already in the middle of a program, and I was like, okay, I'm going to bro split after this program. Then a friend in the gym was like, you should try bodybuilding. And so I didn't get to the bro split because I was so close to the show that I had to start getting cut. And that part, it was like I was excited to compete, but I was also kind of let down because I hadn't really gotten deep, and I was only like 2 months into my bulk, and it was my first real bulk because I've always eaten in maintenance, forever. And so I was like, oh man, like I'm training for this show, but I just started bulking. I just learned what a bro split was. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to try all these new things. And so I got second place in the show, in the open classic and the local classic for the state. And I was excited about that. But now I set my sights on a show in April. So I have a long time to bulk. And so I decided after my refeed that I'm going to do a bro split. So here I am. I'm prepared for bro splitting. And I'm really going to see what happens. Listen, I've been training and logging for a long time. This book right here, this is just one of 4 different log books I have. And this one is almost full. But this one I actually started filling out when I was doing my prep week and all that, my bulking. So it's filled. I've been logging. I knows how to log. But I've never logged a bro split before. And so I'm going to track everything to see if I get stronger, if I put on any muscle mass. The way that I see it is that at best, it's a brand new stimulus and I grow pretty well from it and get stronger. At worst, I don't get that much stronger. I don't grow that much, but I literally still have 4 more months of bulking before I'm going to cut for the show. And the show's in April. So what's that? It's August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. I'm going to stop bulking at the end of January. And then that'll be maintenance and then cut for April. And also, just for context, I am carnivore. I'm keto carnivore. So my mentality is I can bulk a lot longer. It only took me, this time around, it only took me, 2 months to get shredded, to get mega lean. I got to less than 8% body fat in about 2 months. So when you're bulking carnivore, you can be in a pretty big surplus and not put on a lot of body fat. I'm not really concerned about that. So I'm going to have 3 different phases in which I can implement 3 different programs during this entire bulk. So I'm going to do a bro split. Then I'm going to go to a full body that I constructed last year. And then probably some sort of new version of a push-pull that I haven't done before. Like I said, I write my own programs. I've been writing my own programs for a while now. So I never really have to, I always search for new information. And as a matter of fact, the new information that I ended up finding was learning about mechanical tension. That's something I didn't really understand. I've been a hypertrophy bro forever, but I didn't understand mechanical tension the right way. And so when I learned about it, my back went from I remember having like a Baki demon back to like a big old Ninja Turtle shell. Like the size of my lats just grew from learning about mechanical tension. So I'm excited to employ all of these things with the bro split. I'll go into the gym. I'm the kind of guy, I don't program anything on my leg day but legs because I can take it all the way to, I may not be Dorian Yates, but I know for a fact that I don't have another rep in the tank when I'm doing, like, if I'm on leg extension, I know for a fact when I stop doing it, there is not another rep in the tank. I implement all sorts of partials, all sorts of rest pauses, everything possible to get myself to the absolute limit. And it's been kind of a struggle because sometimes that carryover from that muscle breakdown goes into my next training session for legs. Or, I do a chest and back, right? The next time I go to do chest and back, my chest and back is still sore. And so I'll decrease the volume a little bit, and then I heal super fast. And I don't know, maybe it's me, but I think that I might benefit from just hitting one muscle group, devoting all my attention to that. I got lagging body parts. My shoulders lag, my arms aren't that big. Even my upper chest, this upper shelf area is not that big. So it would be nice to devote actual attention to just my chest and just my shoulders. And also, if you're doing your chest, you're going to hit your triceps and your shoulders. So technically you're not just hitting it once a week, same, like I'm going to be doing dips. My triceps are going to get smashed. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be doing a high incline. My anterior delts are going to get smashed. On my back day, I'm going to implement a few different types of rows. My rear delts are going to get smashed, even though they don't get the direct hypertrophic, stimulus. They're going to get hit. And then I'm going to have a shoulder day. And then I'm going to have a bicep and tricep day. So they're going to get hit twice a week, technically. The only thing that isn't getting hit twice a week is going to be my legs. And to be honest, I might just add body squats in on my tricep and bicep day, which is at the end of my week. That way I can just feel like I'm getting, the stimulus from that. But other than that, everything else is going to get hit more than once a week, regardless of how I structure it. So technically a bro split really isn't a bro split, to be honest, but for sake of terminology, it's going to be that. But yeah, I'm gonna hit that. And, again, I'm doing it carnivore. And, I see a lot of people, they go, oh, well, carnivore is not optimal for bodybuilding and yada, yada, blah, blah. I've been training for 30 years and when you add carbs, it's just, you can't beat carbs. But then you also have the dude who's like, I've been training for 30 years and carnivore's been the best version for my clients. And so it's like, I don't even care anymore. For me, carnivore has worked out perfectly. I sleep better on carnivore. I wake up better on carnivore. I have more energy on carnivore or keto carnivore version, right? I've even gotten stronger on carnivore. When I was peak bulk for this last comp, I was carnivore and I was way stronger than I've ever been. When I was really carb loading, there was a time when I was really carb loading because I was trying to power lift. And even then I'm stronger than I was then. And I mean, yeah, sure, I'm older, but I don't know, man. I've never performed better than when I switched to a carnivore keto version. And that's for me. I'm 35. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see like Tristan Lee's like, they're like, oh, see, like carnivore's not good. But this kid, you're a kid. When you're a kid, you're not supposed to be carnivore. When you're a kid, you need to smash all types of food. You know what I'm saying? Your testosterone relies on, all this variety. When you're older, things are just a lot different in my experience. You know what I mean? My T levels increased on carnivore. And I honestly, I think that it just works the best for myself. If it doesn't work for someone else, then that's fine. But anyway, I'm going to do this bulk all carnivore, but I'm going to implement a bro split and then a couple others. And I'm going to come back to you and say, okay, the bro split doesn't really work for me. I didn't put on that much muscle mass. You know what I mean? I'll only really know in January how much muscle mass I put on in totality. And I'm going to separate my growth periods by my training blocks so that I can say, okay, during this training block, I put on this much weight. During this training block, I put on this much weight, and so on and so forth. And, my last show, I came in at 172, And I probably could have lost 2 more pounds, to be honest with you. But I cheated a few times. I cheated a few times. So I had 2 pounds that I should not have had on me. I should have been 170. But anyway, I was 172. My goal for this time around is to be 185. To be 185. Also, now, because there's this part too. They go, well, you're not going to be able to put on a certain amount of muscle this far into your training career. And yes, I've been training since 2010. So technically, I shouldn't be able to put on, 10 pounds of muscle in that short of a span. However, like I said before, I've never eaten in a surplus for real, until that last phase. And that last bulking phase was only 2.5, 3 months. So I've never, ever eaten in a surplus while lifting intelligently, intently, with the goal of gaining mass. I've always eaten in a deficit or barely maintenance. Most of the time, it's always been a deficit. So I personally believe that I have the ability to get a hold of. Essentially, those are newbie gains for me, is what I think. Is what I'm perceiving it as. I might be 35, but again, everything that I've learned has never been applied with a caloric surplus. So I'm gonna be applying it all with a caloric surplus, and I bet you that I'm gonna be able to put on at least 6 pounds of muscle. But I'm shooting for 10. Man, fuck that, man. I'm shooting for 15 pounds of muscle. And if I don't get it, so the fuck what? I'm shooting for it, period. Because there is no limit. There is no limit. Neil deGrasse Tyson, the sky is not the limit. There is no limit to what you are capable of. And if you think that there is a limit, or there actually is a perceived limit, how the hell do you know where it is if you've never tried to go past that shit? When I was locked up, like they tell you what you can and cannot do with poor nutrition, how much you can actually lift or whatever. When I was locked up, I saw dudes accomplish things you're not allowed or supposed to be able to accomplish in the lifting world. So to me, barriers don't really exist. To me, like, really, honestly, if barriers exist, to me, they're like just big, heavy doors, and you just got to get strong enough to push the door open, and then the barrier's gone. But I don't really think that, like, limiting myself to saying I'll only gain 2 or 3 pounds between now and April, I don't think that that's good for my mental. Because now I'm going to go into the gym and be like, I'm doing all this work for 2 or 3 pounds. No, I'm going to do all this work with the idea that I'm going to put on 10 fucking pounds of muscle or more. And if I don't reach that goal, then it won't be for a lack of me, giving up. It will just be because, yes, that's as far as I was able to push it for this phase. But to me, like, just the natural limit shit is, don't put limits on yourself. Test your limits before you set your limits. So I'm going to test my limits, and then maybe next time around, I'm going to be like, all right, I was only able to accomplish this much with this much training. I can go harder, and maybe I'll get more, or I like where I was at. I was training at my absolute best, and now I know I'll only get a certain amount. But either way, I'm going to train insane because I'm not trying to remain the same. And that's just it. I love y'all. Peace.